Welcome back to another episode of Second Son Podcast. Right now we got Miles, we got Elliot.
Hello.
It's a new day. It's July 1st. Happy July 1st.
New day, new month.
So what do you do, Elliot? Can you tell us what you do?
Yeah, I'm an architectural designer and a certified passive house consultant, which is
A certified pedophile consultant? I'm kidding.
Second Son Podcast, everybody. Certified passive house consultant, which is basically someone.
You can laugh. You can laugh at that. No, don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that.
Second Son Podcast,
We
everybody.
needed a sound bar on that one.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, I'll get it. No, I'll get it next time. Yeah. Basically, that just means that I'm trying to help people create the most, the least carbon footprint with building new buildings, because buildings emit more carbon than planes, trains, and automobiles.
Buildings emit more carbon than planes, trains,
Right.
and automobiles?
They have more global warming potential overall, which is usually measured in tons of carbon. Yeah.
Buildings over are you talking about so carbon is like pollution?
Well, carbon is what destroys, is like what warms the ozone layer. Yeah. And thins it.
So pollution is the same thing?
Well, pollution is more like an accumulation of like gases like methane and carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide from cars, and
that messes up the atmosphere, right?
Yeah,
all those
absolutely.
gases mess up the atmosphere, and then carbon messes up the atmosphere.
The ocean, and not to mention the air that like people breathe and stuff, and the forests and shit like that. Yeah.
I didn't know buildings stink.
Yeah. I mean, inside and out, man. There's buildings that are sick on the inside and buildings that are sick on the outside. And the COVID pandemic was a really interesting time for architecture, because it really brought to light, the kind of air that people are getting, in buildings. And where is the air fresh? Is it recirculating? Is it full of microbes? How is your access to daylight affecting those microbes? How is your access to fresh air from windows or heat or cooling exchange machinery?
So what about
machinery?
Okay, so what about like an air humidifier, air purifier? Would that help anything inside?
Air purifiers pretty much basically it's like a Brita for air. So like it removes particulate matter. Obviously it's not like 100%. And I don't know how they grade the the MERV filters or whatever that are in there, but they're to a certain standard to filter out so many parts per million of. They got really popular when the campfire popped off. Yeah. And everyone's asked I
was trying to get one and they were sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the HEPA ones are the ones I was trying to get.
Were you finding like ash inside your house?
Where was I living at that point? I don't even remember. I was. There was ash everywhere. There was ash literally everywhere. Ash everywhere. Yeah. Because it gets into people's shoes and shit, tracks inside the house, gets on your clothes, take your clothes off, starts skidding all over the crib. Yeah,
and it comes through your AC vent that's bringing, it's conditioning outside air, bringing it in. Going through the duct.
I remember some days I would see in the air in my house. Yeah, I remember that actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see like smoke almost in my house, It was, that was fucked up.
So you make healthy buildings?
Dude, you literally just said it.
You make healthy buildings.
Healthy buildings. That's exactly, there you go.
That's dope.
Might be the title of this episode.
So what's I have a quick question. What's the reality of trying to, I assume making a healthy building is a lot more expensive than making a non-healthy building. How do you figure that into a capitalist reality where you need to make money off shit that you do?
Good question.
Right, and that's I was gonna before you even got to assuming that's more expensive, I was saying the difference is it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Usually like 40% more construction cost per square foot.
Is that even realistic when margins are typically thin on anything that we do?
When you have clients who don't have any incentive to build that way, which most clients are private people, private parties.
So it's to order then?
Yeah, they're building.
Okay.
They want a building for, their purpose. Either it's their business or it's their house or their hospital or their office, whatever the fuck.
So would it be someone who has kind of a green model willing to pay more?
Yeah,
essentially?
or someone who has a grant from like the state.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah,
Got you.
that's why it's really prevalent in schools and medical, dental clinics, things like that, things that are, state funded or federally funded, where there's an actual incentive to bring a healthy environment to a building. Because
now another question: are there any paid government incentives to set up a green building?
I think as part of the Green New Deal, which is like a 2030 emissions challenge, the 2030 emissions bill.
So we're still 8 years off of that.
Well, I mean, it's a lost cause, right? Like,
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, it is. We're behind.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the obstacle is getting back to your question about the finances, the incentive to build a healthy building it shouldn't cost as much as it does.
Is it the cost in supplies and materials, or is it the cost in getting things approved and legal headaches and things like that?
It's the materials, like sourcing, like things like fiberglass insulation, for instance, or styrofoam insulation, things that emit carbon dioxide, things that are basically unrecyclable, things that don't break down, things that are inevitably toxic.
Or cheap as shit, right?
They're mass produced. They're cheap.
Yeah.
Things like rock wool insulation made. It's basically broken down rock, or hemp insulation, or recycled denim is a really good one. Like things.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, things that don't emit carbon, things that sequester carbon.
How do we know if this is a healthy building?
It's probably not.
Well,
I would guess.
Yeah, it's probably not. Is this a healthy building?
It's older. It's an older building.
So
how would you test it?
The fluorescent lights, that's like another thing. It's not healthy for your circadian blue light intake to be in a fluorescent building all day.
Well, it depends on when. It depends on when you are in a blue lit environment. Blue light's natural in the sun. It helps us wake up. But if you're in a blue lit environment at night, it fucks your whole circadian rhythm up badly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Yeah, the sun moves and changes in light spectrum throughout the day, and our biology is programmed into that light spectrum. We receive the light into our eyes, and it triggers hormones and shit in our body.
Crazy.
That allow us to wake up. Like blue light emits cortisol in the body, which is good to wake up and start your day. But if you do it at night, now you're flooding your body with cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is made for you to do things. Melatonin is the sleep chemical, and our body naturally produces melatonin, but not when it's in a blue lit cortisol fight or flight state. Basically, that's the reason a lot of people can't sleep and stay up, is because their light cycles are fucked up.
Bro, how do you know this?
Hygiene.
Do I practice it?
No, I said
Do I practice it?
Yeah, like you seem very knowledgeable right now, Miles. Yeah. I didn't know you knew all.
I got a lot of secret sauce that I don't give out.
Yeah. Bro, you should. I might have you.
In another life, I was gonna be an alternative health practitioner, but I changed lanes. Yeah.
I want to flip the switch.
So I know some things. I've been into health since I was 17. So I've been experimenting with everything for years, for a decade.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah, different fitness things, different eating modalities. I found out light health is actually probably the most important thing when it comes to being healthy is light health.
Like what we were just talking about?
We were just talking about your light diet.
Light diet.
But before that comes your mental health and how you perceive life. That everything starts there. You can't get into a regimented program if your mind is not right. Yeah. So it all starts with that, but sometimes your mind's not right because your light diet's all fucked up.
Or your food diet, right?
So it's light is way more important than food. Way more. If you have a perfect light diet and you eat like shit, you're 1,000 times healthier than someone who eats perfect and has a shitty light diet.
Right. Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. Our cells are light. Everything starts with light. Everything is initially light.
Are we photosynthetic? I genuinely don't know.
Essentially, yeah.
We're part of the life cycle.
Essentially,
right? We're part of
we're photosynthetic. Yeah.
We're part of that. We're part of that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Cycle, yeah.
It's beautiful, but it's kind of scary.
But we also need food too. Food is a supplement to light, essentially. Yeah.
So, how you break down everything just now, like, is that hard for you when you explain your job?
Yeah. I mean, I think, that was beautiful by miles.
That was beautiful.
I feel like, yeah, sometimes I get kind of clunky and stumble over.
Yeah. Like ideally at night, you have infrared and incandescent bulbs after 6 p.m. or when the sun goes down, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, in a perfect world. Ideally, when the sun goes down, you go to bed and there's no lights on.
Right.
Yeah.
You're sleeping in pitch black. That's the best sleep is pitch black.
You ever go camping for a long period of time?
Well, usually it's at a festival where I'm up all night doing drugs. Yeah. But yeah, that's the best way to reset your circadian rhythm is just go camping.
Yeah. Every time I'm
leave your
camping
phone in the
for
car.
like 2 or more days, I'm like, for some reason I'm up with the sun and I'm down with the sun.
Yep.
Like effortlessly.
So that's the people in Alaska.
Their
circadian rhythm is
because sometimes the sun's out for 24/7. Yeah.
I did a summer. I spent a summer in Denmark, and they had the same kind of thing where shit was 20 hours of daylight, and like the sun was like dipping for 4 hours, barely even. I don't think it wasn't even reaching pitch dark.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I heard people chase the light, like that too. They like.
Yeah, because in the winter it's the
They
opposite.
literally chase the light.
Yeah.
And they literally move just to chase the light.
Yeah.
Oh, they go around the globe.
They
following-
move to chase the light because they don't want to go back. They don't want to like live in the dark. I've heard some
it's like
rumor
that in
like
the
Sure,
summer,
yes.
I'm like
do
people
that,
really move like every 6
Yeah.
months they'll just move and just chase the light. They don't want to be in the dark.
Yeah.
There's monsters in the dark. I don't blame them.
I like the dark.
I love the dark. The dark.
The dark's great. Yeah.
I was born in the dark.
Everything comes from the dark. We start
Molded
life.
in the
We
dark.
start life in the womb. We start life in the dark.
That's true.
Yeah. And we finish life in the dark to move on to the light. Yeah.
You ever write poetry?
I rap. That's you know what rap stands for? RAP. Rhythm and poetry. That's what rap music is. It's poetry with rhythm behind it. So
That's true.
So yeah, I write poetry every day.
I wish I could define that when my dad asked me what that is, because my dad's a hater
Yeah.
about rap music.
Yeah, it gets a bad rap,
Shout
but
out, Dad.
yeah, but rap's like one of the only things where specifically black people, rap is a staple in black culture. It's one of the only things where black people from the streets, from nothing, have been able to make it in life and become rich and put on for their people and shit like that. So it's a lot of what's talked about is street culture, which a lot of people get turned off by, but in reality, it's the reality of what a lot of people go through growing up. So that's why I love rap music, because it's the realest form of music, in my opinion. You're just speaking on shit that you go through. You're not singing about it. You're not none of this shit. You're just literally speaking shit. It's very rooted in the ground. It's very down to earth music. It's very real.
Do you think people are
love
like adverse to street culture and like people don't want to hear about it? People don't want to like think about it. Do you think like hearing about it and thinking about it makes them like think too critically, or like
it's associated with violence, with bad gangs, violence.
But that's like the perception, though. It's like there is beauty in street culture, right?
Exactly, yeah. But a lot of people who haven't experienced that, they can't see both sides of it because it is polarizing. They don't see the beauty in it; they just see the bad.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people argue, which is a fair argument, that speaking on those type of things is actually promoting the bad of that culture into the youth, which it is in a lot of regards.
Definitely.
So that's why I respect an artist like Kendrick who talks about it, but he's not necessarily condoning it or promoting it. He's presenting it in a way where he's not glorifying it, but he is talking about it.
Yeah, he's in it. He's not of them. Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of rappers glorify the fuck out of it, which I don't think is ideal. As a grown man, you have to be able to decipher, what is good information and what I should make my decisions based off of. But as a kid listening to that shit, it's hard to decipher that. You just take it as truth and how you should live, because you see these rappers with chains and rich as fuck and they're talking about this shit, so you associate with them as an idol. And then you listen to their music and it's glorifying street activity. So in a kid's head who glorifies these artists, they want to do those things because that's what those artists are talking about. So
Crazy.
yeah, it's a sticky subject, definitely.
Crazy.
Yeah.
As people, we just emulate things.
Nobody thinks of things originally. Every invention comes from something. Everything comes from nature fundamentally. Any invention, any object we've created initially started out as something is in nature and then built on top of each other, basically.
But nature is zero though. Nature is 100%.
Nature's perfect.
Nature's original, yeah.
Nature's perfect. Nature's the only perfect thing in our reality. Anything human made goes away from perfection.
Well, why though? If we're offspring of nature, shouldn't everything we create be perfect as well?
What do you mean? Say that again.
What? Because we're from nature too. We're a part of that.
Yeah.
So like anything.
Oh, I know how to answer that.
If I'm an offspring of
Yeah.
greatness, shouldn't I produce greatness?
So nature has perfection wired into it. We're trying to think about that and emulate it, but we're not. It's not wired into us like it is into nature. So we're trying our best. But humans can only perceive a small fraction of reality. So we can try our best, and if it works in the real world to accomplish a task, cool. But there's also shortcomings in everything that humans do. The nature of humans is imperfection. The nature of nature is perfection. Nature is nature.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You see the plant just sit still. It's like I'm just.
Yeah, see, it's perfect. It knows exactly what it's doing.
It knows exactly what it's
It doesn't need to move. It doesn't need to talk.
Dang.
Yeah.
It just sits still.
Yeah.
I heard so many lectures over 5 years of design school. So many professors with such like regarded theories on relating buildings, or relating built environment to nature. Like it's so funny. Nature's right there. You can touch it, and then the goal of the builder is to destroy that, but then bring it back somehow, like kill it, then resurrect it.
Yeah.
And it's such like a weird.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, it's like fucked up.
It's a paradox.
Right.
It's paradoxical.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of
But it's infinite.
Yeah,
Nature is
and
infinite, which is why you can do that.
For now it is, unless we destroy it. We have the
I think we
ability to destroy
don't know
it.
the limits. We don't know the limits of what we can take and what we can do, right? Like, because so far, I mean, how long? Only a couple million years. We'll blink.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing.
And when it comes to Earth, we dominate. We're in control of the Earth's destiny as humans.
So interesting.
Yeah.
We're
We're the dominant force on the planet. Everything starts and finishes with us at this point.
At this point.
At this point. Yeah.
No planet B.
You ever heard the phrase though?
There might be. Mars.
Mother Nature bats last.
Nope.
Well, she does.
I don't get it.
So like in the bottom of the ninth inning, home team,
Yeah.
tie game,
Yeah.
down by one, whatever.
Yeah.
They have the ability to walk it off, send it home, send everybody home.
How?
I think Mother Nature has.
I like that.
I don't know, dude.
That's so
Ask the
fire.
dinosaurs where they at.
They're mostly dead. Yeah.
There you go.
Except for the chickens.
Right.
The chickens made it.
The chickens.
Except for the birds.
The chickens, man.
Chickens and the fucking
my
alligators.
avian brothers.
Yeah. The fucking what is it? The Komodo dragons.
Komodo
Those
dragons.
are some fierce creatures.
They are the longest dynasty.
Maney.
And the ants. Longest dynasty.
The ants been killing it for years, bro. And the cockroaches. Cockroaches are. You can't kill a cockroach.
No, they will find a way.
They'll find a way. They're the most resilient motherfuckers on the planet.
Resilient for sure.
Yeah.
You guys have roaches in your homes? Ever?
Yep. I just found the first one. I'm in a nice new house.
Yeah.
And I
That's
found
just
a
Chico.
roach.
That's just Chico in the summer, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't beat them.
Just red
You can
one.
only hope to contain them.
Nice red
It's like
one.
LeBron James.
You say he's saying the roaches of LeBron James. Got LeBron James jeans. Or LeBron has the roach jeans.
Yeah. Something like that.
LaRoche.
Something like that.
Le
LaRoach.
Lecoq.
Oh, that's funny.
LaRoach. Next time I see a roach, I'm like, there's LeBron. Look at him.
Trying to make some music. Trying to go in there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stay here then.
How many hours a day do y'all spend in here just kind of, whether it be like brainstorming or like physically working stuff out or
what's you guys?
Depends.
When do you guys clock in?
Depends.
Usually I try to get in here at 10, leave by 5, and I
That's solid.
treat it like a normal job.
Just try to be productive throughout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some days are better than others.
Of course, I understand that.
I'd say the last 3 days have been kind of unproductive, but the week prior to that I was in here damn near every single day. So it just goes in and out.
Yeah.
But you gotta. I feel like coming every day is a good idea because that 10th day, you'll get a bunch of shit done because sometimes like things will just click.
Yeah.
Just showing up, staying steady.
Yeah. I look at a project like for 3 hours sometimes, and I get more done the next time I look at it, and maybe it's only I do an hour of work. I do a third. I'm there a third of the time, but
Yeah.
What is you guys' creativity hacks? Like, if you guys are, like you just said one, a really good one, because like you said, you look at it, and then after that, the next time you'll look at it for like a fraction of the time.
But you'll be more productive.
But you'll be more productive. What are you guys' like creativity hacks for when you guys are stuck?
You really want to know?
I don't usually get stuck. It's creativity. Creativity comes with how you're living your life. So if you're one of those people that get in like a stuck mindset, you're gonna be stuck creatively. You just have to know how to keep shit fresh, how to keep progressing. Creativity is like surfing, basically. Like you're just trying to you gotta catch the wave when it's there. You know what I'm saying? But the best surfers know all the best waves and when the best waves come. So you're preparing yourself to be in the right position to catch the wave when you catch it, and you got to be able to try and be creative when you're not always feeling it too. You know what I'm saying? You just got to treat it like a job. You got to like be doing it all the time. Like I'm writing when I wake up, I'm writing when I'm in here, I'm writing at home, I'm writing when I'm driving, which is not ideal for safety purposes, but
Makes sense.
yeah, you just got to do it all the time and then figure out when the best time is, and then you'll start to notice, oh, I did this, and this, and I felt amazing creatively, and then one more time, oh shit, I feel amazing. Okay, that's the recipe right there. You're just trying to build a recipe, basically.
What about zones? Like, you guys go through creative zones. Like, what's your, like, for me, it's like lo-fi beats, and I'm just like my phone not in the room, chilling lo-fi beats. I'm doing the best best stuff, work ever. What are you guys' zone?
I feel like I'm the most creative when I like eat, have good sleep, and go to the gym. Like after that, I feel if you really want like supercharged creativity, it's always like festivals for me.
Really?
I go out to like a festival, do a fucking shit ton of stuff I'm not supposed to be doing, come back, zero in, and it's a big inspiration for me for sure.
I felt that before.
It gives you like a week or two glow. You know, it's not the most sustainable because what's the cost of what you're doing to get in that state? The cost is high, you know, on the body and the brain, but it does get you in it. If you're in a rut, that can pull you out of it, get you in a nice little flow. You know, to be used sparingly.
I think.
What about you guys?
The the biggest thing is that consistency beats creativity every fucking time. It's like
consistent creativity.
Well, creativity is consistency.
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly.
You can't be creative without consistency.
Well, I mean, there's people that are like, oh, I'm only gonna make beats when I feel creative, and they're never gonna feel really creative because they don't feel fulfilled, and fulfillment comes through consistency and hard work.
Yeah.
But if it makes them happy though.
Yeah, but it's not. You can't make a career out of that. I mean, yeah, you might be able to, paint for fun.
Also,
but you're not going to be able to get to the level where you're paying your bills, painting pictures, if you're just doing it when you're, today I woke up, feel creative.
Perfect.
No, because 90% of the time you're going to wake up and be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself out of that
on
spot?
that too, it all starts with your purpose too, because it's all purpose based. If you're doing shit for the wrong reasons, you're trying to chase motivation and creativity. If you've put in the time and the work to understand yourself and what you want out of this life, and you know for sure without a doubt that what you're doing is what you want to do, the motivation's just in your bones at that point. You don't need to search for outside things to find it. But a lot of people be doing like, people make music, make all this money, look at this lifestyle. They get seduced by the lifestyle. but it's not really in their bones.
That's
you know
not
what
an
I'm
easy
saying?
thing. Not everybody can know their purpose.
You
know what
have
I'm
to
saying?
find it. It's your duty especially as a man. It's your duty as a man to find your purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's your duty. It's your duty. You know, it's your fucking. You have to. You have to. What the fuck are you doing if you don't do that? That's the point of life.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing if you're not finding your purpose?
You living.
Out there.
You just living. You just
Existing, really.
You just
If
exist.
you're living, you're existing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but men are built to conquer and conquest. If you don't have a purpose, you don't have a mission. What are you doing? You're just floating around.
What about women?
That's a whole nother conversation. That's a long conversation.
Probably good to have a woman here, no?
Yeah,
Talk
of
about
course.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to get both perspectives. But that's a whole discussion. Do you
Yeah.
really want to get into that?
No. Not really.
That's like a couple hours thing.
Not really.
Yeah.
So, okay, so part of his job, he works on spatial justice. You know what spatial justice is?
Spatial?
Spatial justice.
Pause. Well, I mean, producer.
What?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Spatial justice is a concept that was taught to me through in college through all my design studios,
Right.
and spatial justice is pretty much defined as the fair and equitable distribution in spaces of universal resources and access. So like
Break that down simple.
so people from all backgrounds with all ability levels feel like a space suits them well.
Space regarding
A room, a building, a park, anything. Your kitchen counter.
Justice for all.
Okay.
Spatially.
okay.
Basically,
What?
universally.
But that's not every building, right? What if
no, it's
you're
a goal. And that's like it's one of those unattainable goals where like all you can do is the best you can.
like what if a building's for NBA players? That's not gonna like somebody that's handicapped
Obviously,
isn't gonna be in the NBA.
I'm talking about public buildings, my friend.
Oh, okay. Well, you said any building, so I wasn't sure exactly.
Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. I did.
Yeah. Okay.
But okay, so I mean, that's
Okay,
also
so
a cool
public
point.
like government buildings and shit like that.
Well, I like what you said though, cause yes, so yeah, like a library or like
Okay.
Or like a Starbucks.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
or
That makes sense.
most notably like I think medical facilities where people are feeling
Okay.
the most vulnerable, the most
Yeah.
unwell, the most
Yeah.
insecure, anxious,
Yeah.
places like that. I think that's where it really comes through.
Shit. Yeah.
But also, I like what you said about NBA players because
Like some things are not made to be equal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's
right, and that's where user involvement is
Yeah.
huge, right? Like if a building is going to be for NBA players, the architect better do a fuck ton of research on what an NBA player needs
yeah.
and get the NBA players themselves involved in that design process.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Kinda like making a shoe.
Yeah. That's cool because it's gonna
Making
be
a
a
shoe
bunch
that
of tall
fits.
motherfuckers, you know. So it's like you got to
And-
target for that
and
audience.
Forget size and scale, dude. Also like just lifestyle and
Interesting.
convenience, and like ergonomics.
So spatial justice, this concept, how does that affect your life? Like, what is that concept's place in your life? And is it a broad concept of reform that's
It's
you want to
definitely-
happen?
Good
Is it
question.
what is it? What is it? Is it a private concept you want to create a business out of? What is it?
No.
What is it?
It's like, it's a concept. Like I'd say that architects and interior designers should have in their tool belt when creating spaces, so they can put themselves in the shoes of someone who might be visually or audibly. How do you say? Yeah. Visually or hearing impaired or someone who is maybe from not an English speaking country Or
So would you want it to be like something required, like a OSHA type thing? You know what I'm saying?
I think that gets, because then you start getting objective about it.
Yeah.
And I think
okay.
like subjectivity is
so you just so more a philosophy of thought you want to invoke into people.
Yeah. And that's I thank you for bringing up shit like OSHA and building code, because some of it obviously like
some of it's trash, some of it's bullshit.
Some of it is great though, like wheelchair ramp slopes, let's be honest, you don't want that shit being too steep.
Yeah, of course.
But some of it is rough because it objectifies things that shouldn't have to be the same everywhere, because architecture and spaces are fluid and they're ever changing, and buildings might be the user might change. Maybe one day the building for NBA players won't be for NBA players anymore. You know, so like, and that's another quality of designing with spatial justice, is that it allows for longevity of buildings across multiple users, which is something that the built environment desperately needs, because buildings in this country have a lifespan of roughly 40 years.
Quick question. So regarding spatial justice, what are the biggest problems you see when that concept is not applied? What are the biggest issues that arise from that specifically? Specific examples.
You're asking all the good questions. Yeah,
you are. I'd say things like, just to get super basic, wheelchair access.
Yeah. Okay.
So like wheelchair access, like people going up to a countertop to, put condiments on their fucking hot dog or whatever. They wheel up to that shit, and it's like, there's no clear space for their knees to ride through.
Yeah.
Or
ADA compliance, like.
Yeah, but it kind of goes beyond that, like, because that's not an ADA.
Yeah, ADA is it's like these things, but there's all these other intangibles that the ADA is not considered.
There's a lot of design situations that arise that the ADA doesn't have an answer for.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's tight. Okay.
But also,
I get what you're saying now.
There's also like other theoretical shit that I'm still very novice in, like, I had professors, invoke the thought that like spaces could make people of certain backgrounds feel unwelcome, or
Do you have an example of that?
I thought this is like me being novice, where like I have still so much research and work to do to find out define that for me. What's the situation that I could relate to? Where would I maybe feel unwelcome, and have that to draw on from maybe someone else's experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very young concept in building and design, and it's very college in its development. It's really not talked about as much in practice, in my experience.
Okay.
In my,
I like how you said that. It's very college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's really, because it's just emerging, and people are starting to consider backgrounds, orientations a lot more through across subject matter in learning and in research. Like, how do those things affect something that you wouldn't really think to apply it to?
Exactly.
Yeah, which is I think what learning and research and college specifically is good for and all about, if that's what you're into.
I think spatial justice definitely runs deep as far as like concepts of people's upbringing and environments, like even like lifestyle, whether that be rap and speaking it, and like really not having the right resources growing up in certain areas.
Yeah, and exactly. So like the whole fair and equitable resources, like why is it in really poor neighborhoods, really underserved neighborhoods where they don't fix the roads, where they don't fix public buildings, that you find that's where the refinery plant is dumping their shit. Why?
Right.
Or that's where you find the most unhealthy food gas stations, the most fast food, like, you know, there's no library, there's no good school nearby, like that's kind of like another you know, tectonic to it.
True.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you this, like this was gonna be my last question, but I'm gonna skip to it. This isn't my last question, but it was going to be the last I was gonna ask you, but I might as well just say it now. If you were to be president, like what would one thing that you would change, that you would allow for the U.S. to have?
Remember when you guys were talking about finding a place to rent here, and then there's like people outside of Chico with capital interest buying properties and renting them for too high?
Yeah.
So that's like,
well, it wasn't too high. That was not. It was actually very cheap.
Oh, okay.
It was great priced. Yeah. Yeah. It was more. I feel like we were discriminated upon for our business.
Purpose,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we're young, so most people don't take me seriously, or older people with money like that aren't gonna take someone like me seriously.
You're like, how old are you? What's your business? Oh no, never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, nah, you're a kid. You're dreaming.
Young entrepreneurs typically don't get a second thought from older people. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta scrap your way to success. You gotta prove it to a motherfucker. Oh, you don't. Oh, I can't do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it over here.
They're not,
and then show you that I did it.
Because they weren't entrepreneurs.
And then buy your building.
Generational.
Exactly. They're or they got a fat retirement check. They're 60. Oh, I'm gonna buy some commercial property. They're not real business people. You know what I'm saying? They're not really in the trenches, making this shit from scraps, making something from nothing. They don't know what it takes to do that. They can't even fathom that.
But what would you do?
So along those lines that's why the rent is too damn high in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco, for just to name two. Like 33% of units in downtown Los Angeles are vacant. Yet there's 500.
What?
There's 500.
33%.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Units? We're talking about apartments. We're talking about houses.
Apartment units and office not cubicles, but office suites.
Oh, that includes commercial. That makes sense.
But
then.
it could be repurposed.
Of course, yeah. It could be, of course.
Yeah.
And why are they vacant?
Because they're owned by investors usually from China.
It's limitation of capitalism, fundamentally.
It's basically it's a place to put your assets instead of a bank.
Yeah.
It's better than money. It holds better than money.
Right.
Sure.
It appreciates, and it doesn't go away. It's brick and mortar. It's tangible. It's not affected by.
It's somewhat liquid.
Yeah, and it is somewhat. And it's desirable.
Yeah.
So you and you don't have to pay taxes on it. It's like you own
tax write-off.
It's
There's
crazy.
a million benefits.
That money could work for. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That money could work for itself. However, you can't really. There's no cleansing involved. Like you can't make the old building. Like how do you make an old building more healthier? We could be healthy. We can go work out. You
get in there.
You got to tear it down, right?
You get inside the wall and you find where the wood is rotting and you replace it and you find where the insulation is wet and creating mold and.
Oh, simple. Okay.
Fix it up. It's not simple. You got to take a building down to the bone sometimes.
Okay.
But sometimes it's as simple as chipping away the paint that's emitting a toxic gas or something. Which some buildings still have paint that are emitting lead and asbestos and
interesting
whatnot. Yeah.
But I can't believe, to go back to that, I can't believe 33% of. I'm from LA. I didn't even know that.
Well, when you put commercial units into it, that makes sense because commercial units historically. There's a lot of like if you look around Chico, probably at least 20% of the commercial buildings are vacant.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in a time like this, we're in a recession, which hasn't been officially announced, but we're in a recession, so we're for sure we're
people can't survive.
It's bad. People are broke as fuck right now. They're not announcing it because there's a technical term for what is a recession, but we're in a recession and it's gonna get worse. I wouldn't be surprised if gas prices hit $10, honestly, in Cali. I wouldn't be surprised.
How do you survive going into a recession? I know this is off topic, but this is good stuff. How do you survive going into a recession? You just go electric, ride e-scooters?
First, because I got my ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is that you shouldn't have to. We should have.
But you do, so that's beside the point. Reality is what is right in front of us, not an idea of what could be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So what do you do about the reality that's in front of you?
Well, for me, number one, you have to take a look at the world at all times and gauge where things are going. I kind of called this shit like 4 years ago, so I've been preparing for this shit right now. You know, there's basically 3 people that survive. It's hustlers, business owners who have a product or a service that's valid in any market, or
Bars.
yeah, bars, trucking, whatever the fuck, you know, or having a very high level skill, you know what I'm saying, and in a whatever that people need, having a high value skill, doing something that people need. Yeah. Anyone else doing basic shit, you're fucked. You're pinching pennies until you get through it. Hopefully you're not homeless. That's the reality.
So the best thing you do probably is just to add that high level skill.
That'd be a good start. Yeah, hustle your ass off.
What would you say the worst thing to be is like a car dealer?
What would be the worst?
What would be the worst possible occupation
in a recession?
Yeah,
server, bartender.
Yeah,
just because of the wages. Or
wages.
Those are jobs that won't go away. I'm talking about.
They're not going to go.
Obsolescence.
Oh, you're talking about obsolete.
What are things that'll be like people just won't use that?
Yeah,
people are always going to go to bars and restaurants.
Yeah, I mean a lot of niche small businesses are going to get wiped out.
Yeah.
Like a
clothing store,
flower shop.
Yeah, gone.
Clothing store, gift shop,
bike
done.
Shop, yeah.
Bike shop, little shit like that, you know. Niche restaurant. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna start. Yeah. See, the thing is, you're not like right now. I save money by eating out. That's how expensive food is. So I'm not too sure how that's gonna work. Whether people are gonna stop eating out or eat out more or eat a lot of like taco truck type shit more. Because you go to the store right now, salami's fucking $11. Every single salami thing.
You save money by eating out.
I do, hell yeah.
You can get a taco for $1.25 for the right trip from the right truck.
Yeah, because I eat. I'm trying to put on weight right now, so I eat a lot. Yeah. So if I'm buying groceries to put on weight, and especially the quality of food that I put into my body, you know, I'm paying $20 for a 12-ounce steak. That's one meal. That's not even one meal, and I need rice with it, this and that, a full chicken, all this shit, like that shit.
There's
like if
time that goes around it,
and
making
time,
all
and that's the biggest thing is time. Anyone who's not, to me, cooking is a luxury for the rich. If you don't have your money up, you don't have enough time to stay at home and cook. Where you're broke and you're chopping onions, like what? Like figure out how to make some money. You know, that's how I look at it. That's just me though. I'm a little extreme when it comes to money.
But that's kind of like a money versus wealth type of game, because it's like money versus health. Type of pull and tug, because it's like, well, you're eating out, but it's like it's not really healthy.
So I've been on both sides where I focused predominantly on health and not my money, and I realized my health was declining because I was broke. Because the stressors you feel within your mind outweigh the quote unquote bad food that you're eating. You know what I'm saying? When you get your money up, you're able to breathe and you're able to think rationally. And when you think rationally, when you can breathe and you're not fighting for survival every single day, you're healthier. Your stress is a lot less healthy than eating a taco truck.
Yeah, stress is straight poison.
Stress is the main killer of a human is stress. Stress is what kills. If you're not surviving, you're stressed all day.
Yeah. Even under the sun.
You're dying all day.
But how are you dying if you have that light health?
You likely don't.
Yeah, if you're stressing.
If you're broke and stressed, you're not considering things like that. Like where I was, like
you're not considering things.
Yeah, you're considering your next meal.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to block that out of my mind, and it kept coming back. You know, so then you're just in this constant war, and then eventually I just gave up and you know did what the world showed me I had to do, not this idea of what's best in my head. You know,
interesting.
The reality shows you everything you need to know.
Very interesting.
You know.
What do you think is like, James? What do you think is priority for like, if going forward in a recession environment, in bad times? What's like a priority for you? You think that to just like
to have
maybe
to
not
own
to survive, but just like to maintain sense of self and sense of purpose.
Well, that's a deep question. I say
like what's important. Like,
I say just having your financials right is important. Just because stress is like the number one factor for like all diseases. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like health wise and everything. So I think for me that's my answer. Just like having like 6 to 8 months of like just an emergency fund. Like all like I have that. You know, some of my friends have that. And I think that's just I think you'll be well off for a certain time until you figure out. I think we can figure stuff out in like a month, but give us 6-8 months. I think we'll really start to figure out like how to really live.
Yeah.
So
I'm really new to, I just graduated a year ago, a couple weeks ago, like, so I'm thinking like middle of June.
Have you been working since then? What have you been doing?
Yes, I'm architectural designer at a firm called North Star here.
Locally? Okay, nice. Are you an engineer too?
I do some.
Or more like conceptual design.
He's a man of many talents.
I do some structural engineering. I do some like I guess thermodynamic engineering, like figuring out like heat transfer through like through building assemblies.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's
he has to show you one day. It's so sick. It's really interesting. I think you'd really like that for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm really new to like having a job that is like super consistent, like with like I'm paid every 2 weeks. It's
what
really,
you get paid doing that, if you don't mind me asking?
$66K a year.
66. Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably your checks are probably like $1,200 each, something like that. 1300.
16 after I got health insurance, I got 401k deduction.
Yeah.
I got my accident insurance.
Yeah.
I got 250 going 500 every month to my student loan.
Okay. Okay, like 1,600 then
So
a
it's
check.
like 1,600.
How much are your loans?
Dude, that was a $60,000 loan. I'm like almost 10K through now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Working through it, chipping away.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's a private one too. So if
Oh, so if they clear shit,
if they
you're not
clear
even
shit,
cleared?
I'm not even cleared. Yeah.
That's fucked.
What is that? Wait, if you clear, what is that?
So there's like private student loans and public student loans.
Yeah, so if you're not
Like, let's say
clear-
Biden says all student debt's cleared, not his, because he got it privately.
A private, yeah. It's not federal money.
Yeah.
It's money from a.
But they're not clearing student debt. That ain't happening. Yeah, we too broke.
they're like,
yeah.
nah, give me my stuff.
America's built on debting.
Yeah.
It's like
It's built off credit and debt.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody actually at work today who's saying they know two buddies who own a small business and they're pinching pennies, they're scrounging, but from the outside they've got the newest trucks, the newest boats, the newest jet skis, and they are just racking up credit card debt like
Ridiculous
a
debt.
paying the minimum.
So
From the
dumb.
outside, it looks like
So
they're balling,
stupid.
but they're not balling at all. And he says he worries about them all the time.
That's
I'm like,
that's
that
a
sounds so
traditional
stressful.
American.
Right.
That's
Like,
that's
why do we have
that's
to-
the norm. That's the norm.
But
crazy.
why do people
Yeah.
feel like comfortable doing that? That makes me feel icky just thinking about that.
That's stress.
Yeah, man. I mean, part of it is the social media age, seeing people living their best lives, only snapshots of their best life on social media. And
Yeah.
when you see that, humans have a natural inclination to compete and to, be at the top of a social hierarchy. And if you're seeing people flexing all their shit on Instagram to be better than them, you got to flex better shit in your own lane.
Grab that
And
bucket.
the rational mind will wean, and the social animal takes over. That's a tough one. You got to be really patient, and that's one thing I was really good at. I was really patient before I started making more luxurious purchases, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like, until you're really, really comfortable money wise, every penny you have should be going into your next project. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna make you more money and scale your income up.
Yeah.
Always.
But that's what you're saying right now is my like thing that I've been thinking about for like 8 months. Like I'm just like right now I'm just a saver, but like I want to be an investor, but it's hard because you got the recession, then you got other investment vehicles that require high brain activity. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you want to put something that's a low brain.
My,
like you don't
my
really
advice for anyone is basically like your first investment should just be in yourself, into a skill set that can get you. Because
That's me.
Until
Yeah.
you're making 10, 20K a month just off your main hustle, investment shouldn't even be an idea in your head. You should work toward a skill set that's going to get you paid a lot more. You need immediate cash flow, big cash flow, before you can make any investments that are going to give you a higher return than just investing in a skill set within yourself. Always.
That's facts. Yeah.
Always.
For sure.
So I'm a saver as well. So like I was talking about, I'm really new to having like a consistent income, and you're talking about having that 6 to 8 month nest egg as well.
Yeah.
do you separate the two, like your personal savings versus that 6 to 8 month emergency?
Absolutely.
You do. Okay, so those are two separate things for you.
Yeah, bro. I have like 4 bank accounts,
Okay.
like 4 or 5 bank accounts for sure. Cause like if I put all in one, like my mind goes left. Some people they can naturally like save and like look at their money and like be disciplined. For me, it's better if it's not there, if I'm blind to it.
Right.
So
I'm in that boat because I have a check-ins and a savings. So when I go on my app, I see like, and every time I get a paycheck, I try to put at least $750 into my savings, and it stacks up quick. But then
that's really good.
But dude, sometimes I
really
work a little too much on my credit card. I'm like, fuck, I gotta pay my credit card $500.
Exactly.
Like, what? I didn't save enough in my check. I gotta actually get it from my savings now. And is that really saving?
It's just
at that
pulling.
point?
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I'm kind of at that stage too where I'm pulling, like I'm kind of like hovering over like a little credit card, like $300, just like
that's
cycling every month.
Yeah, that's good. That's how you build credit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I know what you're talking about, like pulling, like you're not going nowhere. You're sinking. You're like it's just like a quicksand because like you're pulling. You think you're at the beginning of the month you're saving $750. You're like, okay, and then you spend money and you're like, I gotta pull out of my savings, and then it's like, what did I really save?
Exactly. It's like I say I didn't save as much as I said I was going to.
Yeah.
You know, which I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it's like that's where I'm wondering if like you separate your personal savings from your, you know, that 6 to 8 month.
I do, absolutely.
Absolutely. I might lean towards that.
I hate that. After I did that like probably like a year ago. I haven't touched it since because like, you know, my rent is not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
My lifestyle isn't going to change from what I'm already getting paid and how I'm living. So once you got out the way, you're like, oh, fine. Like,
right. Yeah. That's another stress gone. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's just.
I forgot to look.
We were just like just vibing out, just talking about everything.
Should we record an outro?
Huh?
Should we record an outro?
Yeah.
Was the audio recording though? Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Is it still? Is it shut off right now?
Oh, it was probably shut off for a few
Your
minutes.
outro, the reason is the battery.
All right, for sure. All right. I think that's a wrap.
That was good.
Thank you guys for
Talking. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Bro, Miles,
Fucking pleasure.
yeah.
Thanks,
I know you was a thinker. Like you really like go in on other subjects.
Oh, yeah,
Not no disrespect. Like I don't really like.
Yeah,
like I
you
know
don't
you
do
for like.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Like,
not
bro,
really
I didn't know
in.
you had a brain, bro.
Yeah. For real. Appreciate y'all for coming out. And
You're a thought-provoking.
just vibing and talking out
Yeah.
on like certain stuff.
Like, subscribe.
Go ahead and like and
Like.
subscribe if you're watching this video. Make sure you comment on what you liked, what you didn't like. Also, if you guys have Instagram handle, I think
Follow the
Elliot
kitchen,
Hogan.
the Kitchen 530 on Instagram.
Nah.
At Elliot Hogan, you can follow him on Instagram.
How do you spell the last name?
Hogan.
Hogan. Elliot Hogan. Yep.
Yeah, and follow the Kitchen 530.
The Kitchen 530.
This is a
on
spot
Instagram.
to be.
Yep. Podcasting services, mixing, mastering, recording, video editing, clothing. We got popcorn. Mostly popcorn.
We got popcorn.
That's the main reason.
We got two of the best up and coming.
Mostly we have popcorn. So pull up.
It's an exciting environment. They got some happening shit going on. 2 studios that I've seen. Maybe there's more. I don't even know.
I mean, this is a studio of its own.
Yeah, and then the other one.
Control room, studio A, studio B. Hopefully one day if we have the clientele for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah.
So sick.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys on the next episode.
Yeah.
See ya.